Welcome to my channel Learnovate. In this video, we will going to discuss about the basal ganglia. We will also going to discuss the neuroanatomy of basal ganglia with the connections and the function of basal ganglia in this video. So what is basal ganglia? The basal ganglia, that is actually a basal nuclei, it are structure of a grey matter. You can say it is a collection of a grey matter that are the masses of grey matter located deep in the cerebral hemisphere. In both the side of cerebral hemisphere, there is a penetration of deeply placed grey matter masses, and these deeply placed grey matter masses are simply called as basal nuclei. Here you can see a cross section in which they are shown that they are deeply placed in the cerebral hemisphere on the each side. Now the basal ganglia is divided into different types. That includes the corpus striatum, that is the caudate, and the putamen lentiform nuclei. Then the amygdaloid nuclei. Here you can see the amygdaloid nuclei. Then it has the subthalamic nuclei, the substantia nigra, and Rag nucleus as a part of the basal ganglia. Now we will going to discuss the terminology and the classification that is used to describe the different nuclei of basal ganglia. So simply here we can see that the corpus striatum includes the caudate nuclei, that include the head, body and tail of the caudate nuclei, with the whole lentiform nuclei, that includes your putamen and the globus pallidus both. This is whole called as a corpus striatum. Then what is being meant by lentiform nuclei? A lentiform nuclei contain the putamen, that is the outer one, and the globus pallidus, that is the inner one. So the putamen and the globus pallidus combine to form a lentiform nuclei. While a neostriatum is a part in which when the caudate nuclei combine with only the outer one, that is a putamen nuclei. So you can say the putamen plus the caudate is called as the neostriatum, while the lentiform nuclei that includes both the putamen and globus pallidus plus the caudate is equals to corpus striatum, and the putamen plus the globus pallidus is equals to your lentiform nuclei. So this is a basic classification that you have to remember to understand the basic concept and the position of these nuclei. Now we will going to discuss one by one each and every part of the basal nuclei. Starting from the neuroanatomy of caudate nuclei, where it is placed and what is the function of caudate nuclei. Okay, so we have just discussed this classification. Now we are going to coming to see the neuroanatomy of the caudate nuclei. The caudate nucleus that here you can see is a large nuclei, and it is just surrounding along the presence of the thalamus. This is the thalamus posteriorly. This red thalamus is being surrounded whole around by the caudate nuclei. This caudate nuclei is passing along the walls of the lateral ventricle. If we see inside in anatomy, here this hole is shown the caudate nuclei that is passing along the borders of the lateral ventricle. The head of the caudate nuclei, this is the body of caudate nuclei, and this is finally the tail of the caudate nuclei that is continuous anteriorly as the amygdaloid nuclei. So the head, the body and the tail of caudate nuclei are corresponding to the anterior horn of lateral ventricle. Then the body of caudate nuclei is in relation with the body of the lateral ventricle, while the tail that is coming forward and down along is continuous with the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle. So in this way, this caudate nucleus is going to surround whole the thalamus. We can also see in the next diagram here that how this caudate nucleus is being surrounding the thalamus, and then it end up anteriorly as a amygdaloid body. This amygdaloid body is nothing but it is a part of limbic system and perform its function in fear, anger and sexual activities. This amygdaloid nucleus contains a end of the tip of the tail of caudate nuclei. So it is also present in the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle. This all form your corpus striatum. Now the second part of corpus striatum is the lentiform nuclei. We will going to discuss the anatomy of lentiform nuclei. Now if we focus on this diagram, we can see this is a cross-sectional view taken from the cerebral hemisphere. These are the two corpus striatum that we can see. Actually, they are shown only the lentiform nuclei. The position of lentiform nuclei here, you can see these are the two wedge-shaped masses of the grey matter. They are located deep in the cerebral hemisphere. And this grey matter is being divided by a sheet of white matter into the two parts. The major one, that is the outer lateral one, is the putamen, that is the outer one. And the inner one, that is the lighter one, is the globus pallidus. Then you can see that this globus pallidus is actually again divided into two parts by a sheet of white matter into a globus pallidus externa and into a globus pallidus interna. Then medially, this globus pallidus is related with the internal capsule that's separated from the thalamus and the caudate nuclei. We will going to see in a detailed diagram. But here if we see the general concept that outer to the putamen, lateral to the putamen, we can see one more thing here. And this is the grey matter again, and it's called as the claustrum. Then outer to claustrum, this is your insula. That is the deepened fissure of the cerebral hemisphere. Now if we zoom out or if we detail this diagram, what we can see? We can see, now in the next part of video we'll continue from this. Thank you for watching. Welcome to my channel Learnovate. In this part of video we will going to discuss a detailed diagram of the lentiform nuclei and the remaining connections and the function of basal nuclei. So here we can see this is whole the lentiform nuclei with its connection with the caudate nuclei. So you can say this is whole the corpus striatum that includes the caudate and the lentiform nuclei. Now if we see here, this is the detailed view of this area. Now here we can see that this is the caudate nucleus and this is the thalamus on the medial side of the area of the third ventricle. Here you can see this is the thalamus and here is the head of caudate nucleus that will going to surround whole about the thalamus, and here it will going to surround the thalamus and end as the tail of caudate nucleus. So this will going to surround the thalamus and end as a tail. We have just discussed the caudate nucleus completely in the previous part. Now in this part we can see the details of the lentiform nuclei. Medially to the internal capsule is the caudate nuclei. Lateral to the internal capsule is your lentiform nuclei. This lentiform nuclei is being divided in two parts. That is the lateral outer darker one is your putamen nuclei, while the inner one, the lighter one, is your globus pallidus. Then a sheet of white matter that divides the putamen and the globus pallidus is a sheet of white matter in between, this one. Then internally we can see one more sheet of white matter that divides this globus pallidus into two major parts, that is the globus pallidus externus and internus. Now if we move laterally towards the outer side of the putamen, we can see here this is a space. This space is of white matter and this area is called as the external capsule. Then outer to this external capsule we can again see an area, and this is a area of grey matter that is called as the claustrum. Then external to the claustrum is again an area of white matter called as the extreme capsule, and then there will be insula. So this is how the lentiform nucleus is arranged over the internal capsule and over the lateral side of the insula. So this is a detailed diagram showing the lentiform nuclei and its relation with the caudate and the corpus striatum as whole. Now we are going to discuss about the connections of corpus striatum. That is what the caudate and the lentiform nuclei are going to combine to form a corpus striatum. Now here you can see this is showing the afferent and efferent connections of the corpus striatum. Here you can see this is your lentiform nuclei and its connection with the different areas of the brain. Starting from the afferent connections, the afferent connections include the corticostriatal fibers. These are the corticostriatal fiber coming from the cortex to the striatum, corpus striatum, and they will going to release a neurotransmitter that is the glutamate. Then the second pathway is the thalamostriatal pathway. Here this is the thalamus on the medial side and they are going to cause the afferent fibers towards the corpus striatum. This is called as the thalamostriatal pathway. This thalamostriatal pathway is going to carry the information from the thalamus to the corpus striatum. The third pathway is from the substantia nigra that is functionally a part of basal ganglia but not included in its anatomy. It is only the functional part. Now if we see here, this is the substantia nigra having the signals with the corpus striatum. So that's why this pathway is called nigrostriatal pathway, and the neurotransmitter of this nigrostriatal pathway is the dopamine. The last pathway that is coming from the spinal cord, brain stem that includes the medulla pons and midbrain These pathways are connected with the corpus striatum and they are going to release the neurotransmitter, the serotonin. This was about the afferent pathways. Now we are going to discuss the efferent connections of the corpus striatum, that is being output from specifically the globus pallidus part, and then it will go into other parts of the central nervous system. So the two pathways, that the striatopallidal pathway, that is from the corpus striatum, that is from the putamen towards the globus pallidus. These are the corticopallidal pathway, and they will going to release the GABA neurotransmitter, that is their striatopallidal pathway. Here you can see this is striato and this is the pallidal. Striatopallidal pathway release the GABA as a neurotransmitter. Then the second pathway is from this corpus striatum to the substantia nigra, and this is also a short pathway that is called as a striatonigral pathway, from the striatum to the nigra, that is substantia nigra. And here again the neurotransmitter is your GABA. Somewhat acetylcholine and substance P also act in this pathway. So this was all about the efferent connections. Now we will going to discuss the major roles and the function of the basal ganglia. So the major and the most important function of the basal ganglia is in maintenance of the posture and voluntary movement. This basal ganglia also helps in controlling the learning motor skill movements, that are the fine motor skills, including your writing, including your singing, including your signature, including your playing, and all that things that require the fine motor control. They are under the control of this basal ganglia. Then the third important function of this basal ganglia is in controlling and its influence on executing the movements. That means that it is going to prepare the movement before it occurs. So it will going to execute the movement, what actual the movement should take place through the two circuits that we will going to discuss in the physiology of the basal ganglia, that are the caudate and the putamen circuit. Now coming to the last one, that is the important role of basal ganglia, is its maintenance in the posture and voluntary movement that we have just discussed. It also play an important role in the discrete movement of hand and feet, like it will going to control the distal movement of the hands, fingers and feet. So these are the important roles of the basal ganglia, and we have just discussed the anatomy, including the connections and the types and the functions and the categories, the classifications we have all discussed. So this was all about. I hope you will be extremely well. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. If you have any query, comment below, like, share and subscribe.